Hello everyone, welcome to today's video. Today I'll be reviewing a student game of mine that they played recently. My student is 2Q and their opponent is 1Q. And the reason why I wanted to review this game in particular, when they sent me a few games to review for them, is because this game is a game of missed opportunities and how timing is very important, especially in the middle game. But we'll get into that as we get there. Of course, we have to go through the opening, which has some things to discuss still, but yeah, let's get into it. My student was white, my opponent was black. This was actually played, I believe this was played during the NAOL, the North American Online League. Not the current season that's going on, I believe it's season 18, but the last season, season 17, or maybe even the one before that. But yeah. We get this, we get the high, 2-space high enclosure, and then we get white's approach, and we get black doing the 2-space low pincer, which is a move for sure. It's less common than the more common R5 variations, or even this close one, but this is playable, and white attaches, and in general, especially with this approach, or specifically with this approach, I should say, is whatever pincer your opponent does, you should just, even if you don't know every variation, you should start with R3. R3 is usually a good starting point with these kind of moves. Generally a good spot to get, which is why you see R5 the most as a response, because it gets the corner. So any pincer they do, whether it's this, whether it's this, it could be any pincer, lean towards getting R3, even though there could be some complications. R3 is a good starting point. But then black does this move, which again, this is a move. Now it's a move that I've talked about fondly in the past, but mainly with R7, and how I learned it, specifically from In Seong, I'm sure you've heard that name before, is with R7. So when black plays R8 and does it, I'm not sure of the idiosyncrasies with this move in particular. Now the idea with this one, so I assume it's a similar idea, is that we're okay with giving white the corner as long as we get to seal white in somewhat. Again, the thing with this kind of variation, if white does it this way, gives white a bigger corner, then we can seal white in. If white simply goes here, you can see when we play P6, which is the next move to play, while we have sealed white in, our shape is obviously less than ideal. We have two knights moves, so this can be cut. As long as you treat things lightly, though, it won't be too bad. For example, if white cuts across, you don't cut white, because now white's going to get the cuts white is looking for. Instead, you can just jump here. Treat this P6 stone lightly. This is the whole idea. If white has to connect like this, you can see white's not actually accomplishing that much. But regardless, I don't know all the differences when it's one line further away. Like, I assume you're looking for the same thing. I'm just curious after whether white goes here or here. You can see there's not really a great move to now connect up. So, yeah. Again, though, this could be a move that black just really likes. But white plays here, which again, I know when it's R7, you look to play here. And yeah, this is actually considered a mistake. Again, when it's at R7. But black has played R8, so I don't know all the differences. I looked through it a little bit, and it seems just very similar. But black does something strange and just goes elsewhere entirely. And here's the thing with, or kind of here's the theme with this game. What happens is black gets around the board a lot. Like, black jumps around the board a lot, which again can be a good strategy, right? You want to get around the board so you can develop your stones quickly. But black leaves behind a lot of weak stones and groups. And so the onus becomes on white to be able to punish correctly. And we'll see if white is able to in this game. So for example, black has just Teinuki'd in a spot where both sides are one stone to one stone. And especially with this kind of joseki, or this opening, corner opening, if black gets one more move, it's not like white's whole upper left gets destroyed. So this is a spot where white should just capture this stone. As soon as you capture this stone at Q3, O4 and R8 can be under attack. And again, it's not like whatever black gets up top is going to be that painful for white, especially when you can capture the stone at R3. And just look how big the corner is now. But white just answers, okay? And so again, this allowed black to have the chance to play in the lower right. But again, if black can get R4, it's considered very painful. It's considered very painful. So, yeah. And yeah, when the stone's actually at R8, and maybe this is why black went elsewhere, when the stone's at R8, now that I'm looking at it, normally, like if the stone's at R7, and you do this, the reason why white can't go here is this stone can get saved. So white can't descend because you can just connect. So white would have to Atari, but then you can cut here. When the stone's further away, I guess that's not a problem, is it? Yeah. Because you can just descend still. So, yeah, I guess maybe the Hane there is less plausible. But I still think black should add a move. Even if it's just... Well, black ends up playing a move that I think is pretty good, actually. But black should just do it now. I won't spoil what the move is, but black should just play locally right now, instead of just going elsewhere. Black extends, or approaches, which again, white should just take the stones on the bottom, or if anything, attack these stones. Again, black hasn't even extended the correct amount from D15, right? There's still a weakness here. Or these stones are still weak, I mean. Black still owes a move. Black owes a move on the bottom. So maybe you could say, oh, well, you know, white should just be patient, but if you're too patient, you're going to miss your chance to strike. Because black even ignores again, and we get this formation. White descends, and now black goes elsewhere. Now black plays S5, which I think is a pretty nice move. It kind of makes R8, it kind of ties R8 all together, and the idea is when white Ataris, black's going to save. Like this. And you can't capture black now, which is why getting P3 earlier, you would have been able to. But white pushes through, and then connects here. I think there's a case to be made about connecting here or connecting here. If black cuts this way, we'll be able to extend, and this means you're going to be able to keep some of the corner at least. Like if black ever cuts, you can now clamp, and then you'll be able to keep some of the corner. Whereas when you fix here and black cuts, now you can't clamp, and now there's even a follow-up at P2, which is pretty big. But white smartly does attack, and this is why actually black really needs to, it's kind of, black's thinking here is kind of backwards. If you want to ignore, like let's say black wanted to do it now, you should do it now before you make your stones heavy. But black made their stones heavy, and then went elsewhere, and now white gets the key spot here, and now black's going to be under severe attack. So black should, at this point, just extend back, like this. This is the move, or in some cases you can play D6, although with how weak black is in the upper side, if white just like splits here, yeah. Black doesn't want to play this because it's way too cramped, right, on this side, but black doesn't want to push this way because of this peep looming. So yeah, this is why you don't want to miss side extensions from these two stones, especially when you extend all the way. Like, if anything, black should just extend back if possible. Or, once again, just answer here. But white does find the proper move here. Black stands up, white peeps. And again, black pincers here, allowing white to cut. So this is just, you just need to kind of bite the bullet. Okay, you know, I owed a move on the bottom, but instead I took a move in the lower right. I just need to answer this. You need to connect this cut. White will probably jump. You can jump. And then white extends. The two stones in the upper left are lighter than the bottom stones. Notice when you save these stones, the black stones that is, white becomes weaker in the lower left. You can look to play moves like F4. So yeah, black just need to be a little patient. Otherwise, why did black stand up then? But black stood up, then pincered, and then let white cut. So now black gave up even another stone. Black plays here, this is fine. And then shoulder hits here. So you can see black's really trying to get everywhere. Black's trying to fix the left side, still owes a move. Black gave up the left side here, lower left. These are dead. And now is continuing to put pressure on this bottom side, even though black stones are dead here in the corner. So yeah, black just needs to kind of take a step back and just kind of take a deep breath and be like, okay, we'll try to solve one problem at a time. Just solve one problem at a time. Not trying to solve all my problems at once, which in the process is going to leave me with more problems. So black shoulder hits, white stands up, black jumps, this is okay. Then white jumps, I like this. And then black even goes elsewhere. Black goes elsewhere here. Which again, that's not a small move, but you have to play big, or you have to play important before big, I should say. Black just added 2 stones on the bottom, and you even added an extra stone as white. This is now when you attack the bottom side. This is when you now attack. Now white's a little calmer. White just jumps here, which is okay. And then black adds a stone. If you're watching this video right now, how should I phrase this? How likely are you to now attack this lower left group? Is it not tantalizing? Black just added another stone, made themselves heavier after you started to surround them. This is the time to attack. Spoiler alert, white never attacks these bottom left stones. Never. So this is, for my student, this is one of the highlights of the games, is timing is so important. Not only did you just add a stone here to threaten to attack, to threaten to split, to threaten to surround, black added another stone inside. Another stone. So all you should be thinking about is, okay, let me surround. We're going to surround black. And even if black lives, black's going to live small, right? And our thickness here is going to help us invade the left side. It's going to help us invade the right side. And this will be smooth sailing. You could also, because you're so strong, like let's say black connects here, you could also, if you wanted, force black into the center. Let black into the center, and when black's playing from one side, right, let's say something like this happens, black's going to be hurting the other side, right? It's a splitting attack. When you help your bottom side group, you're going to be hurting your left side group. So there's a few ways you can play this as white. And also notice white's gaining on the bottom, point-wise. So there's a lot of ways you could play this. White plays here, which is okay. This is not bad. When you play this pincer, your only goal in life should be to keep these 2 groups of stones separated. So black jumps, white jumps, black jumps, white jumps. Okay, this makes sense. And then white covers. And everything white did here was fine. White could have attacked the bottom, but white attacked the upper left. Okay, that's fair. Black haunts, white covers, and then black makes a tiger's mouth. Now, if you have seen my videos, this has come up dozens and dozens of times. Look for your shapes. And I don't mean shapes such as bamboo joints or tiger's mouth, like simplistic shapes like that. I mean shapes that really don't have a name, but they're shapes that come up so often that they should be they're a repeated pattern that has characteristics, if you will. So when black plays B14, you have to realize as white, oh, black has made a 3-space extension. So that means if black gets B12, black is going to be able to connect somehow, or at least has a very high chance of connecting. Now you might be like, oh, well, what do you mean I've seen that shape before? Well, hopefully you've seen it, because if you've played something like this, let's say black pulls back here, and let's say white tries to invade, what is a very natural next move for black? A very natural next move is to just cover on top. So this starts to connect black. So white can try to poke through, but even if white can poke through, it's going to cost white. So this is what I mean. This is the kind of sequence I'm referring to, or this shape I'm referring to. So this 3-space, almost like a large knight's move, Even if your opponent has a stone in the middle, you can play the other one and start to connect. So take this mental image of this shape and look at the shape we have here. Black has the large knights with the stone in the middle. So whatever white does, white needs to not let black get b12. Now playing b12 directly is a little slow. I would recommend c13. This threatens to take away this I and also prevents that connection. Even though this still technically exists, you're going to have time to be able to Atari here. So yeah, this prevents that problem. But even if you had kicked here or even just went down, even if black lives, the idea is even if black lives, we can still attack these 4 stones in the center. If we can still attack these 4 stones in the center, that means we can still attack these 5 stones on the bottom. And again, black lives 2 points up here, black lives with dame here, black lives with very little points here, while having to give up the right side, because again, you can't give up these 4 stones. So let's just assume black can live. It's very difficult, but just we'll give black best case scenario. We'll just say black's alive. Let's just say black's alive, right? Okay, black lives. If we simply just even knights move to attack this lower left, like how can black now defend the bottom? It's impossible. Because if you defend the bottom, right, you're still not alive. I can still attack you. But then, how do we now defend this left side? And so black's going to be scrambling to make all these groups live, where we're just going to easily be able to get to the right side, reduce the right side, invade the right side, upper right corner is vulnerable. And again, in this case, black's still not even alive on the bottom left. So that should be white's plan there. Now, I'll cut white some slack because when they played this game, they weren't actually my student yet. So they weren't, it wasn't drilled into their head to look for these shapes. But yes, you need to look for these shapes. Again, I'm not talking about just simple tiger's mouths, bamboo joints, simplistic shapes that are in every beginner's go book. But these they don't have names. They're more, they're just more almost sequences than actual shapes, but I like to call them shapes. But we'll see. White goes here, black Ataris. Black threatens to connect, white Hanes. And then white just connects. So white doesn't even fight the ko. Now, again, granted, I don't think white can fight the ko, but when black cuts, black's going to be able to connect. Because if white extends and black connects, now you can't save this, but if you Atari, black can Atari this way and just be able to connect through. In what could have been Gote, when you went here, or when white went here, because this move is Sente, there's not really a weakness here. And what's even worse for white is, if black Ataris here into this, white can even lose the 3 stones. Right? It's a ko, but these 2 stones don't have value for black anyway, so it's a flower ko for black. So, yeah, but the main thing is black's already connected. And now look at these stones on the outside here. How valuable are these stones? How much are these stones doing for white now? So white was able to separate these stones, and now we have to look for the profit. Where the profit now is we just took second line territory. And again, instead of asking, and here's the crazy thing, even though black connected, if white simply goes here, black does not have an eye. This is not, even if black gets his Atari, this is not an eye. Again, there's a ko here, but there's no eye here. So this group's actually quite weak. So this left side group, even though it's connected, it's fully connected into one group, is still not alive. And neither is the lower left. But instead of looking to attack, white instead looks to invade. So this is going to allow black to now attack you instead of the other way around. So black pincers, of course. White attaches. This is correct. Black Hanes. Cut. Now black does have the ladder, I believe. It's going to hit here, but that's not white's plan. White's plan is to Atari under. This is okay. And black Ataris and connects. Now I think black should just take, because if white Ataris, then you're going to Atari at R18, and white's not going to have an alive shape. Connect, play here, not alive. Or if white extends here, there's going to be problems with a potential ko later. So this ko could be looming for white. I think black just wanted to seal white in, or start to seal white in. This is what black chose. Peep, connect. Then black plays a very peculiar move. Black should just jump up. It's again a very similar shape as the lower left. And just build this on a large scale, but instead black plays at S11, which I'm not sure. Like, I guess there is Aji here, but even if white just connects, it's like very small at this stage of the game, so I'm not sure. But yeah, black goes there, white turns, and then plays here. So this is correct. While you can live anytime at S19, it's go-tay for black to play S19. So for black to really commit to this, it's going to cost black a lot, and you can see if you can still just run out in the center somehow, right? It's going to be hard for black to kill this. Black jumps, and then, white jumps, and then black descended here. So remember way back, if we're move 93 now, way back at move, let's see, move 47, so almost 50 moves, you had a chance to attack this group. Now, technically, you can still attack the group even when black goes down. But this is what you don't want to do. White plays at B2. White plays at B2. This is so painful. Black is locally dead already and doesn't even have an eye. So as long as you make an eye on the bottom, you need to think more efficiently here. So that's why just Hane and connect. Even if black plays here and descends, if you simply just play B1, black needs to spend a turn to make an eye before he can even try to kill you. So even if black goes here and you just... Again, it's big eye versus small eye, so there's no way white can lose, but even if you needed to live, you can just live. So this is kind of the wrong thinking. What that also means is if you were viewing G3 as Sente to play B2, you really needed to play on the bottom then. You really, really needed to. Because this is too painful to play G3 and forcing you, in your eyes, to play at B2. Black goes there, sure. White goes here. It is an awkward shape. I think just F2 is the best. The reason why white didn't want to do this is because black would Hane. And again, I think this is still fine. It does make black's shape pretty nice though, which is why I think just take black's shape point there. Yeah. But right there, Atari then goes down. Weird to cut, because here you can Atari this way, which doesn't lose you any points. So the only reason to cut here is to get these Ataris. To then you can play H2, fix your shape. So it's kind of weird for black to cut. Otherwise, black should just descend then. Yeah. Because if white goes here, then black wouldn't play D3. Black would instead just Atari this way. So it's a minor thing, but order of moves does matter there. But black gets to descend and then got to extend on the bottom. Which again, this move isn't even Sente. So white can still just take the extension on the bottom. Which again, black is not alive. Black's not alive on the bottom. Again, nor on the upper left still. White just answers and lets black get the extension. We play diagonal. And then we play up top. This is not small, but I think this is white saying like, oh, we're in endgame now. But you got to be careful about their bottom group, and your upper side group is still have some problems. Now, the thing with white, though, is like if white went elsewhere, this move's also very painful because we have a knight's move here. So in that sense, it's okay. But it feels like the bottom side is the part that's heating up because black peeps and then jumps here. Now, this shape is a little strange. If anything, you either just want to jump or knight's move to put pressure on this group. Playing this one just means, okay, white, you can cut me at some point if you want. And it's painful. Whether now or in the future, white can just play some cuts like this. And with both of the cuts connected, right, if we get something like this, you can see there's problems for black here. So, or there could be problems for black, I should say. which is why I don't think right now white should fix. I think white should just jump here. But white is leaving a lot of problems. Potential problems. Or black's leaving a lot of potential problems for themselves. So I'll just play this. And yeah, it's a very nice shape point. And yeah. But white kicks. And the thing with the kick is, look at what black is getting compared to what white's getting. Yeah, it's similar, I suppose. But black's definitely happy that white is fixing all of black's problems for them. Black extends up. And now black is starting to connect up this group as well. Which again, there is still potential to attack this group here. Black goes there. This is okay. Usually you just want to attach though, even if white captures the stone. It's generally considered okay because white spends a lot of moves to just capture a point, whereas you get all these forcing moves on the outside. As opposed to this one, where white gets pretty solid shape, and now there's weakness at L16. If white gets L16, that's pretty painful. So, yeah. So black prevented it, but yeah, I think attaching is better. And if white pulls back, then of course now you're created a cut as opposed to here. Black jumps, white attaches, bumps, black covers, and then white Ataris, and connects. So white is threatening to cut off these stones here. I would be careful though as white. You're treating this as if black always has to block here, but in some cases, it's just worth more for black to just let you take out a couple points here. Because remember, the lower right is fully alive. So in some cases, it's worth more. You can see you're not actually getting that much. So the outside can be worth more sometimes. Because remember, white still does need to live on the right side here. So if black starts to get these outside stones, it could be dangerous for white. So black just blocks, white cuts, Ataris and connects. Black has to connect, and then white pushes. Black Hanes here, and white cuts. This is fine. And then black plays a move that must have bamboozled white, because black wedges here. And all white has a few options here, to be fair. All white needs to do is either go here or just capture. Those are what white should do. White should just Atari here because if black connects, then you still have time to connect here. And now you can't actually save these stones because they're going to get laddered, either saved here, but if you Atari either way, it's going to become an Atari. So you're safe there with this ladder. But if black goes here, you can simply just connect. Or you can just capture, I mean. You don't need to connect at Q12. But what if white goes here? Well, now black would be able to save, but that's kind of what happens in the game. Is white cuts here, and when black extended, this forced white to have to take. Now again, I say forced with quotation marks because white could still just capture these 3 stones. Now it wouldn't be as good because then black extends, which is Sente. Now you need to worry about this group again. But I think you should be able to manage. All you need is one eye. How hard could that be, right? But yeah. Like if you just go here, again, it's tricky, but or even just connect might be okay too. Yeah, it is cumbersome though, but at least you capture these stones. Because what happens is white takes, black captures, or Ataris, and notice what's happening to this bottom group, right? So white extends, and then nets. And then black Hanes, and we need to ask ourselves, okay, is this move even Sente? It's not. Because black can't capture the 2 stones. Or black can't save the 2 stones, I should say. So white should just play at M1. But white adds it's a good shape point. Like if black played there, it would be very annoying, but then black's just able to kill the bottom, like so. So yeah, so after this is when white resigned. So again, white had a lot of chances in this game. Not only with the lower left, but the left side entirely. But white let black connect here. White never got the chance to play on the bottom. And when black finally was the one that played on the bottom, white just answered submissively at B2. So yeah, again, missed opportunities. This game was all about missed opportunities. White had all the time in the world to to either attack the right side efficiently, or the left side, I mean, or the lower left efficiently, but never found the chance to. And because of it, Black was able to get strong in the bottom and end up killing the lower right. Despite Black jumping all over the place, having 3 weak groups on the board at one time, and yeah, continuing to ignore White. So White, and we've talked about this in our lessons, but you gotta work on timing. Timing is so valuable. Timing is so valuable, and it's interesting because me and my student have played a couple just teaching games or just free games, and I thought the timing was impeccable. And by that I mean they kept ignoring me, which was frustrating, of course, as a player. But as a teacher, it's good to see. But in this game, it felt like White just kept answering Black almost, especially in the lower side here. So yeah, that's it for this game review. If you have any questions about this game, please let me know in the comment section below. As always, I am looking for students, so if you're interested in lessons, please contact me at ohiogoschool@gmail.com. But that's all for me for this video. Please leave a comment if you have any questions about the game, and I'll see you all in the next video.